Ronan's back, slicing through the noise with a culture attack. Pop culture, films, and the world we see. Deleted scenes, where the truth runs free. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties, reviews to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties, reviews to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Steve out on your YouTube, bro, let's roll.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, human being American, and YouTube Ronin, and I would like to welcome you to tonight's episode of Reserved Seats. Yes, we are back from our hiatus. We control the vertical, we control the horizontal. I want to say hello to everyone currently joining us on X. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. I want to say hello to a few people who have joined us here in the live chat. Faithful Blue Wrench, channel member, the Bird Woman of YouTube. Watch out for her second channel, Fluff Chick Productions. It's Connie Cleary. Friend of the channel, Jamie Lynn Simons. Bringing the Geeky Geezers raid, Netters Network. Something last call dark side. Alright. It says Projector. This is Reserved Seats with your special guest stage Boomer. And now please welcome your host who will amaze you by unbeknownst to unboxing his stuff. And this is how we win. Yes, thank you. Alright. Our man from the future, Sashi. Yes, my guest for this evening is waiting backstage. So let's bring him on right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of Geeky Geezers, co-host of Friday Night Last Call, and my co-host on Live from Sparkwood in 21, ladies and gentlemen, Flappy apologist, Castlevania fan, head geek, aged boomer.
Hello, thank you for having me. Yes, I am. I am a old school Castlevania fan from back in the day.
Indeed. In fact, we were talking about that a little bit on stage, off stage, because you had brought up Castlevania on Geeky Geezers earlier this evening, and discussing
yeah, big fan of that. Big fan.
Game.
Yeah. Yeah, because they made an announcement for a new game, which Konami hasn't done in what? I don't even know. 14 years, maybe longer. It's been forever since they've done a Castlevania game, so it's good to see that they finally are bringing one out, and they got a good developer to make it. So we'll fingers crossed that it'll turn out to be a decent title. So yeah. Indeed. So how about you? Did you have any Super Bowl commercials that you liked?
No.
That Mike Tyson one where he's crunching the apple, huh?
Weird. Honestly, I haven't really seen a lot of them because I didn't hear about any. I think the only one I saw was like the Budweiser one where they brought the Clydesdales back.
Oh, okay.
And
not
honestly,
the
I'm not even sure if that one was. No, I was like, I get what they were trying to do. But it's just now is not the time. You know, they needed to sell
mood
people.
Isn't there right now for that sort of thing. Yeah.
No, they needed to sell people onto film, and I don't think they did that.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So let's see here, though. Have you made any interesting Blu-ray purchases lately?
Actually, yeah, I have a couple of them. I just watched The Life of Chuck the other night.
Okay.
and which is, as those of you know from my earlier broadcast, was my number one film of 2025. In kind of a tie with Train Dreams because they're kind of the same movie. They hit on some of the same ground, philosophically certainly.
Cool.
Yeah, I highly recommend them both. Because the thing that's been happening, and this is actually kind of a funny story. I've been having a lot of trouble. I was starting to kind of give up on 4K because I was having this issue where I would be in the middle of a movie and then it would have that pause, and I would always have to stop the disc, take it out, put it back in, go through the whole thing of going through the opening and then fast forwarding to where I stopped and then hoping everything would work again. And then I was on talking to Corey the other night, and he was telling me what there's a way that you can adjust
Oh,
your Blu-ray machine, and it's ostensibly supposed to stop that from happening. And so I tried it out, and he kind of took me step by step through it, and yeah, so far I haven't had any problems. I mean, I need to kind of test that out again. But yeah, hopefully that won't be an issue anymore because that was starting to get like super annoying. And that's the reason I bought a whole other machine to begin with, was because I was hoping it would counteract that. And I'm like, okay, I'm just not
why
setting
was it
this thing right.
causing it? Why was it
Because
causing it?
well, you have to well, because basically, I guess I left it on the factory settings, and I guess like you have to adjust all that on your own. But I didn't know to do it. So I don't
Yes.
know. It's weird. And I'm not really like it's like I'm not tech savvy enough to like ask the right questions, you know.
Well,
So
it,
it's usually a simple fix,
it's funny you mentioned that because I remember the old days of DVD. I didn't know what I think they call it PCM audio. Is that right? PCM,
something like that. Yeah.
where basically when you would select that, if you just hooked up to your TV and didn't have a surround sound, I think they recommended that because I guess it downsampled the 5.1 signal. Because when I used to do this, when I first got my DVD player and played it on my TV, it would make the vibrations from the sound were so bad it would make the TV vibrate. And I'm like, can I fix this? And then I decided, well, I have to buy a cheap surround sound system. But what I needed to do was adjust the setting for PCM audio, and that might have actually cleared a lot of that up back in the day. And it's little things with DVD you learn over the years. Like I remember with when you would put a full frame movie like from the 1940s in your player, but it would stretch it out because at that setting there was a setting you could do where it would make it full frame but still keep your widescreen movies widescreen. Like it,
Hmm.
like I think you got to set it to 4:3, but not as a 4:3 TV. If that makes any sense, it would have to be able to.
Yeah. Whenever my dad
Your
saw wide,
setting.
sorry, go ahead.
No, you were saying. Go ahead.
Oh, right, because I said, every time my dad saw a widescreen movie playing on the TV, he thought, well, okay, the TV's broken. You know?
Yes, I had to explain to my
That was
parents, you're
his
not
thing.
losing image, you're gaining image.
Indeed. And hello, Jimmy. Welcome. All right. Yes, on with Aged Boomer, host of Geeky Geezers. You're just a few minutes in. Haven't missed much. This is the tech portion, or suddenly now the tech portion. Yeah. So hopefully that'll get the whole thing cleared up, and if not, hey, that's one of the cool things about being here on YouTube is now I have all of these people that I can ask whenever I have an issue with something. I can
No,
always,
sorry, I
yeah.
went to see. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. You were roboting, but it was probably not you, it was me, so I switched over to a different network, so hopefully this will clear it up. All
Okay.
right. But what did I want to talk to you about, though? But I did make some interesting Blu-ray acquisitions recently. I picked up some Arrow Blu-rays.
Oh.
Now, of course, I'm not on 4K yet, so sometimes finding an Arrow Blu-ray of a new release is tricky because you have to finagle it because for whatever reason, they're not. You can't just type it in on Amazon. Sometimes I have to go to Blu-ray.com, find a review of the standard Blu-ray, click on the link, and that brings me to the Amazon one. Or you get it through Walmart or through some other company. But I don't know. I got a Simple Plan, the Arrow Simple Plan DVD recently, Blu-ray. So
Oh yeah, yeah. Good film. Good film.
Yeah.
Um,
I saw that in the theater back
yeah.
in the day.
Oh yeah.
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton. Yeah. I think I'm trying to remember if I saw it in theaters or not because I'm trying to remember if I even read the book because the book was like a blockbuster when that came out
Oh,
initially.
really? I didn't even know it was
And
based on a book. I
oh
should
yeah.
look into that.
Um,
Okay.
a fella named Scott Smith. He wrote the book,
Okay.
and he also wrote The Ruins. I don't know if you remember that one. And
Okay.
that became a film as well.
Oh, that wasn't
But
the one about the plants in the ruins, was it?
yeah,
Oh, I saw the movie version of that. Yeah, but
yeah.
was the
The
yeah.
the book's better. Yeah, but it's pretty much the thing we'd stay at the Triffids. But
Right.
yeah, yeah. Simple Plan's a very good film as well. But of course, you had Sam Raimi there to pull it together, and you got a good cast, and yeah, Billy Bob got nominated, and you still had Bridget Fonda there, and
Yeah, it's a good
Brent
cast.
Briscoe. Yeah, he's been in a
Sort of reminded me a little
yeah.
bit of a Coen Brothers movie, but I realized Sam Raimi and Coen Brothers probably shoot some of the same scenery, so that's
Oh,
that's
they
probably where
did.
that comes from. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think they wrote a film that he had directed like really early on, and
Right.
then he did the Hudsucker Proxy with them.
That's right.
So yeah, it was and and he's in Miller's Crossing
Oh, okay.
very briefly, where he's the when the cops are all out in front of the building. He's the guy who gets shot.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
It's weird
So
who shows
he's
up
there.
on in these properties. Like Bruce Campbell had a cameo in Fargo. He's on the soap opera that they're watching on TV.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me.
That's what that's what it is, because you're wondering where they said Bruce Campbell was in. No, he wasn't. Then there he was in he was in the fake
okay.
soap opera, which I thought was a real
Yeah.
soap opera they were watching on TV.
Well, it really could have been any one of them. And but
Yes.
the funny thing is that it's everybody is watching it. even Grimsrud is watching it, and I was like, okay.
Of course he is. He
Of
was
course
probably
he
the biggest
is.
fan.
He probably was. And that always reminded me, and going back to Twin Peaks for a second, because there's kind of
Oh yeah.
soap opera within a soap opera. It's running through that, as well.
Did
And
David Lynch know? Did he and the Coen brothers ever, hang out or whatever? I mean, I don't know if they knew each other or not, but
I don't know.
yeah.
I do wonder what a collaboration between them would have been,
Yeah.
and I gotta think that they met up at some point.
They came out of the same new breed of directors. They were all part of the same group. I know that because David Lynch was part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Coen brothers. I think Tarantino is considered part of that new group too. That came out of. I don't know if that was during the '80s, like the post 70s directors era. How you had like Coppola and Scorsese and Spielberg, like the next group. I think it was them that came out and about. But yeah, I don't know. I've been on an old New Line Studios kick lately. I picked up the Arrow Blu-rays of The Mask, Spawn. Don't judge me. And The Cell and Dark City, actually.
Dark City is a masterpiece. I love that film.
Yeah.
You know,
It's interesting. Go ahead. Yeah.
no,
I'm
please.
a big fan too.
Go ahead.
Came out before The Matrix, right? If I remember.
It did. A lot of people. I mean, I know there were reviews later that were like, "Oh, it's ripping off the Matrix." I go, "No, it was before."
It's not really ripping off the Matrix
No,
because they're not in a simulation. It's that these men in the black suits can actually control the reality. Okay, that
yeah,
of where whatever is that like a fake planet? I don't. You know what? Let's not spoil it for those in the
no.
chat. Actually, it's one of these movies you really have to come and see because there's some things that will blow you away when you're watching it. Like
Oh,
you
very
weren't even
much so.
thinking that that's what was going on. But I got the special edition of that, which actually no, it was the standard edition because unfortunately the new Arrow Blu-ray, they always put out their special editions first, and the original editions came with the director's cut on one disc and the what do you call it? The theatrical version on another disc.
Hmm.
But I think because when they released the standard edition, I guess they consider the director's cut the default, so that's the disc you get in that version, which I guess is the better cut anyway. But um,
I'm trying to remember what the director's cut added, if anything.
I think I add some things, but I think it also cuts things out. Like I think it leaves more of a mystery in the beginning of it. Like
Oh, right,
yeah, like he
because
cuts out the scene with I think I'm getting injected in the beginning. Like they wanted to leave things because it was what he originally wanted, but the studio said people are going to be
mhm.
too confused, so don't do that. You know, it's
Because
gonna.
the director's cut cuts out Kiefer Sutherland's narration as well, doesn't it?
It might. I didn't even think about that. Like I have another Blu-ray of it too, which I don't normally
Uh-huh.
double dip because the Warner Brothers one originally was pretty good, but I don't know, for some reason I've been on a New Line kick lately because I remember New Line during the
Hmm.
'90s they were really doing some amazing stuff. They also did the movie The Cell, which I did pick up the Arrow version of that.
Yeah,
Um, are you a fan of that movie, The Cell?
it's a good one. It's a good one. Very dark film, but it again in the end one of those movies. It does. I like the turn that it takes at the end.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah.
It was interesting because I was reading the online people, and they were screaming bloody murder because apparently that was an Arrow video mistake, where if you click on the director's cut, it doesn't transition properly during one scene. But they said
Hmm.
no, they've done a recall and they put them out, and if you see B on your disc, like Mark B in tiny writing on the disc, that means you have the corrected version. And I just got the standard Blu-ray. I got it on sale on Amazon. So I'm like, well, did I get the corrected disc? And I look and I almost could see the tiny B, and I double checked the scene, and no, it looks like it was the fixed copy. But it's an interesting Blu-ray because the second disc of the special edition comes with a version of the film in like it's almost like a 185 to 1 aspect ratio instead of the scope it had in the original picture, and it doesn't look bad, and I'm like, well, how did they do that? you know but
But they do that where they seem to switch up the aspect ratios. I don't know if it's like on purpose. And I was watching, like I said, I was watching Life of Chuck the other night, and I'm like, does this movie change aspect ratios like about part halfway through? Because the main stories it's a story being told backwards, and it's cut into three main segments. So it's like you get Act 3 first, Act 2 in the middle, and then Act 1 at the end. And when you see the movie, you understand why it does that. But I'm why I want to go back and actually watch the 4K another time here real soon is because I think the aspect ratio is different for each act. Or
it
at
might
least
be.
it seemed to me it did that, and I hadn't noticed that before until the other night. And I was just like, I don't know. Is this just the way I'm watching it? Is it just a 4K because it's on Amazon as well? So I don't know. It was it just kind of struck me as, oh, that's interesting. That would be an interesting way to do it because it's three different time periods and all this, and I don't know. I just thought it
Well,
was a nice little thing to
Grand
do.
Budapest Hotel had different aspect ratios in it. Remember that one?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wes Anderson. It would go between widescreen and then like a full frame like 1:3:3 ratio. And I was often curious because Criterion put that on a DVD and Blu-ray, and I was like, if I still had a standard definition television, and if I got this regular DVD of it, would it actually go full frame on the old TV and do widescreen in the widescreen segments? Because obviously not with the Blu-ray, but I wondered if with the DVD it would go back and forth. But I can't test that because I don't have I don't have an old school television anymore. But I was kind of curious how that would have played out on like a regular TV, if I'm making sense to you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I just don't know about the switching aspect ratios back and forth. I mean, you get that with certain DVDs, like with the Dark Knight Blu-ray. When that came out, the IMAX scenes were in 1:8:5, but the rest of the movie then is in, I guess, the 2:3:5 ratio, right? The scope ratio. And it didn't bother me actually, the fact that it went back and forth when I was watching it at home. You know, because Nolan would shot certain scenes in that movie exclusively for IMAX.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, but it's weird if I watch my digital copy that came with the disc, it does the plain the 2:3:5 throughout the whole movie. But the Blu-ray actually would switch between the 2:3:5 and the I guess the 1:8:5 ratio, which I thought was interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting to see which because with me it's usually so subtle that unless they do something really major, I don't notice it. Like I always expect whenever a movie has seen shot in IMAX, the aspect ratio, of course, will change when you're watching it on television. But you know, when they do things that are more subtle, like I said, like Life of Chuck does, you don't necessarily notice it right away. So it's always like, wait a minute, was that doing that the whole time, or you know, did it when did it change? Because I don't notice it.
I'm curious. Were
It's
you engrossed?
seamless.
Were you engrossed in the movie?
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's that you're so engrossed in the movie that you don't
Yes.
realize that the change is being made. But the difference with something like, say, a Nolan film like Inception or Interstellar, you
Right.
know, the things that I know were shot in IMAX, I look for the aspect ratio to change because I expect it. When it's something, like I said, like with Life of Chuck, when it's much more, or it's seemingly much more subtle, you know, where I'm questioning, wait, did that change? When did it change?
Yeah,
You know,
it throws you
yeah,
off. Like I said, same thing
yeah.
happened with Grand Budapest Hotel, and I'm sure other directors are doing it, which I
Hmm.
find funny in our present day when we've all moved on to widescreen televisions. That now they're pulling this stuff with the full frame,
Yeah.
because it's like, and don't get me wrong, I think the 1:3:1 ratio is a great aspect ratio, but you guys gave up on it. It wasn't me. You're the ones that
Hmm.
had to switch over to the new TVs, or maybe it wasn't Hollywood that did that, but it was just. I guess that was more the government with their digital signaling, but
Yeah.
I don't know though. Do you remember the first DVDs you ever bought? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, first DVDs. Probably, probably Blade Runner.
I think that was one of my first two. Was it the old Snapper case director's cut version?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got that. That was either in my first or second batch. Because what would happen was to save on shipping, I did like six at a time through a company called DVD Express Online. And I think Blade Runner might have been in the first batch. It was either my first batch or my second batch. But I remember that director's cut because, of course, when you buy your DVD player, you want to see all these classic movies in their original cuts and in the widescreen. That was part of it. So
Mhm.
it's basically because I couldn't afford a Laserdisc player. That's why I picked up a DVD player. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize it was going to be the standard format at the time, but I thought it would replace Laserdiscs. You know,
Yeah.
so
Because there was the time where people thought that you know, laser discs were going to become the thing, when Betamax is going to become the thing, and oh, what was that other one? It was right around the same time as DVD.
DivX.
kind of Divx.
DivX was
I think
crap.
it was Divx,
Awful.
but the point was I remember walking into kind of like your Best Buys and whatnot, and seeing the DVDs slowly overtake the Divx's on the shelf to where they were just down to finally one shelf,
Yeah.
and then they were gone altogether. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Circuit City were the big pushers of that, and I remember that at the time. I remember being frustrated in the beginning of DVD because I remember Disney no, Disney really hated DVD. They did not want to get on board with that. I remember
no,
that at the time. Warner Brothers was good because it was their. They were one of the big champions of DVD. I think they helped fund it, right? The
hmm
technology, and so did Sony as well. I think.
I believe so. Yes.
So I remember my first batch. I got Dirty Harry, Dog Day Afternoon, the classic Sidney Lumet movie. I got Austin Powers, and that was a newer release movie, but I had seen that earlier in the year, so I wanted a new release movie. I think Starship Troopers, that was either my first or second batch, and Night of the Living Dead, that was one of the originals. The original Elite edition that had the audio commentaries with it. I remember getting those early on, and I was amazed at the DVD technology. I was like, wow, I can watch this over and over again, and it won't get caught and it won't degrade,
Yeah.
like VHS tapes do. And I was very happy.
Right.
But I do remember that Blade Runner director's cut,
hmm
and because I don't even think I had that on VHS. I think it must have gotten a VHS release also, but I think. I remember growing up, I would get VHS tapes on occasion, like for a birthday present, or maybe once in a while I'd buy one on my own. But I wasn't a VHS collector because deep down I knew it just wasn't great technology. I knew I was tired of tapes getting caught in the player and all this
hmm
other stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Blade Runner was when we first got a VCR. Blade Runner was the first movie my dad bought,
Oh.
and because he was a big Blade Runner fan, and the first movie we rented, Invasion USA, Chuck Norris.
Ah, good old Invasion USA.
That was a fun weekend.
What I love about Invasion USA is that what is it? The Chinese communists, the Soviets, the South American drug lords. I forget who else.
hmm
They're all teaming up and like we're gonna form a coalition and just invade the United States, and we're gonna
Yeah.
try to we're gonna shoot down, we're gonna blow up white suburban households, and we're gonna attack people in like the Latino community, Hispanic community, making it think that the cops are killing. Because they were trying, they did all this stuff, and I keep thinking as I watch this, I don't think y'all thought this through
No.
because we do have this thing called the National Guard in the United States. And I think that's what Chuck Norris was part of, right? If I
Uh,
remember in that movie.
no,
Oh, he wasn't?
he was
Okay.
CIA.
Okay,
Yeah.
CIA, never mind. But I mean, it's like, I mean, you'll do some damage, but you're going to get overwhelmed. And then I remember there was a fight in a mall and a Christmas tree gets knocked over and
hmm
different things. Just, oh, man.
Yeah.
Um, it's interesting you mentioned Blade Runner being your first VHS. I believe the version released on VHS was actually the European cut. Did you
Yeah.
know that?
There was different footage. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
think
do
because I
remember
think it
that.
has
Yeah.
that scene with him grabbing onto Rutger Hauer's eyes and gouging his eyes out, which might have been excised from the American version, but don't quote me on that.
Hmm.
But I did get that fancy box set that Warner's put out years ago that had all the different cuts on it, which
Oh yeah.
apparently the DVD versions are degrading, but a friend of mine upgraded me to the Blu-ray of that with the different cuts on it, so I guess I'm okay. But
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I need to do is, especially with the Warner Brothers discs, where it seems to be the biggest
yep,
problem,
yep,
is to go through them and see if they've degraded, because I think that's what might have happened with my disc for The Departed, because I couldn't get that to play.
yeah. Probably.
And
If it's not playing, that it's a
Yeah.
degradation, because it happens on things you would think, well, wait, was a new release movie. I got the Superman movies on a DVD from Warner Brothers when they did those re-releases around the time of Superman Returns. And I was playing them, and I'm like, wow, none of these play right. And I thought I must have gotten a bad batch, not realizing that, no, they just made a bunch of bad batches and ship them around the country. And I still, and unfortunately, I don't really have access to my old DVD catalog right now. I have my Blu-rays, but my DVDs are in storage, and I'd like to go through to see which ones aren't working, because apparently Warner Brothers did apparently finally acquiesce and say you can do an exchange. If we have it currently printed, we can give you something at equal or lesser value. But my worry is, by the time I finally get access to them, they'll be sold to Netflix, and they're not going to honor any of that. But oh well.
Yeah, it is something to think about. And this is looking more and more like Netflix is probably going to come out the winner on this thing.
Disaster.
Yeah.
Complete disaster. They're all worried about AI. You need to be worried about Netflix buying everything up. Netflix does not care about theatrical.
No.
They do not care about. They're let's be blunt. This is a Silicon Valley internet startup style company. They're not movies, and I'm worried that they're going to do a lot of damage going forward. But I don't know. But I do remember those early days of DVD, though, and I remember I was a big fan. I remember getting the Spawn DVD back in the day. Do you remember the movie Spawn?
Yeah, I do.
You want to forget it, don't you?
Well,
I mentioned it to you.
I remembered being very confused and not really being able to follow the plot of it very well. So, well, okay. He goes to hell. Why does he go to hell? Why is this clown chasing after him?
Yeah, the John Leguizamo played John Leguizamo. Michael Jai White is the I guess it was something Simmons, right? He was the
Al Simmons.
Al Simmons, yeah. And yeah, I just don't know. It's just it was just and Martin Sheen as the Mr. Evil, the evil government CIA guy in that, and it was just, it's not a great movie. It was known for being a great DVD when it came out, because it had a lot of things on the DVD, like you could go to audio commentaries. If you flip to the other side, you would get to like other special features, like the Marilyn Manson video, and this big long talk with Todd McFarlane. It was considered one of the biggest feature-laden discs at the time of release. Was it a great movie? Not necessarily. I did pick up the Arrow release just because I have fond memories, even though it's not a great movie. If you want to watch something funny, watch the Siskel and Ebert review of Spawn. Have you ever seen that?
I probably did at the time.
Siskel hated it. Roger Ebert starts defending it, and they get into a fight.
Oh no!
Because Gene Sissel's explaining the plot. Says, where did I get that? Not from the movie, but from an article I read in like the New Yorker or Entertainment Weekly. He's saying Spawn lost me in the first 5 minutes. He was not happy about that.
I don't blame him. I don't know what was going on.
It's this overly complicated plan the devil has set up. I guess, yeah, you're right. Why does he go to hell? Well, because I guess hell snatched his soul up first to lead the armies. That doesn't make any sense. It's like, who's running things in heaven? That I'm like, I don't understand this movie, but I don't know. And it had that the guy named Cagliostro, who was actually played by the actor who played Merlin in Excalibur. Did you know that?
Yeah.
And what was funny was the director on the audio commentary. The director was talking about it, and he was saying that actor, like most of these British actors, he was probably in the Royal Shakespeare Company, knows all this stuff about European history, and he goes up, do you know who Cagliostro was? Like he's saying, like, this is not accurate to who this person was in history. And then he said at one point the director's daughter runs up to him, the little girl runs up to him, and he looks at her, and she just screams, and then he says, story of my life, and turns around. And it's just, there was funny. He said he was a riot to have on set. I don't know. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, I get points. Michael Jai White, when they set him on fire, they actually put flammable stuff on him.
Yeah.
and then set him. That's him on fire in that scene. He actually went through this fire stunt thing for that scene. So, and apparently whatever they sprayed on him was extremely cold, so he could resist the flames after they covered his whole body. So I don't know. But yeah, I got the Spawn Blu-ray. I got The Mask on Blu-ray. The Jim Carrey movie.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I've never seen The Mask.
What?
Nope.
Oh.
Not one time.
Do you like Jim Carrey?
Most of the time, yeah.
Okay, because you'd like him in this. The Mask is just a lot of fun. That's what it is. It's sort of like I almost want to compare it to like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, except that he basically turns into a cartoon character when he puts the mask on. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So the mask brings out your inner personality or your inner whatever. So his in his spare time he likes to watch old Tex Avery cartoons and things like that. So when he puts the mask on, he becomes like a Looney Tunes style character. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of it's a fun movie. It had the dog from Frasier in it too. Who's one of the stars in it, But yeah, but that got a nice Blu-ray from Arrow recently, and I am going to be picking up at some point the Excalibur Blu-ray from Arrow and the Westworld Blu-ray from Arrow. So I am looking forward to those. Yeah, that's coming out, and all these are coming out 4K. I still haven't migrated over to 4K. I don't know when or if I will, but that's the thing about what I like about these new formats, though. Sometimes it gives older movies a new lease on life because they want to release them on the new format. I had a real problem on DVD with getting a lot of the older Hammer movies because they released them from Anchor Bay and then they didn't release them again, and you couldn't find them. But then Shout Factory under the Screen Factory level started re-releasing the old Hammer horror movies, and so now I had another chance to get them. Whereas I missed them on DVD, I could now get them on Blu-ray. So that was nice. But I don't know. I don't. Sorry, Jimmy Lee Simmons. I don't have Police Academy on DVD.
Yeah, see.
Maybe I should look into that. Maybe I will get.
Sorry, go ahead.
The Mask was on Me TV Tunes. Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. It says every night at 5:30 before Police Academy at 6.
Oh, she's talking about the cartoon.
Yeah.
There was a Mask cartoon series. I don't want to spoil the movie for you, but his love interest in the cartoon series is not the same love interest he had in the movie. The movie plays fast and loose with something which I thought was kind of clever for the time. Basically, you have the good girl and the femme fatale, and, well, I'm going to spoil it. He gets betrayed by the good girl, and the femme fatale is the one who actually ends up saving him in the end, Wow. So he ends up with her instead of it being the other way around. I thought that was interesting, but Cameron Diaz is the femme fatale in that movie. Nice. But no, big fan of The Mask. Just a classic New Line movie, a lot of fun. And I started thinking back to the 90s. I think there was a lot of risk taking at certain studios in the 90s. Like they would greenlight things I don't think they'd greenlight today. I mean, maybe I'm picking on more studios than not. I mean, I guess Lionsgate, they take risks, right?
They do from time to time. I really like what I'm seeing out of studios like A24 and Neon, and it may not always work, but at least with every movie they swing for the fences.
Did A24 put out The Menu?
I think so.
Or does it just feel like an A24 movie?
It feels like something they would do.
I keep meaning to watch The Menu. I keep seeing clips of it on YouTube, and then I shouldn't do this, but I click on the clips, so I kind of want to watch it all the way through. Was it good? Did you see it?
No, I've just seen like the cheeseburger clip.
See, you're like me. We just see the clips. Okay.
But I don't watch the whole clip because I'm like, something major is going to happen here, and it's going to blow the movie for me.
Yeah, and so I don't want to spoil any of the clip
halfway through.
It's not on streaming anywhere. I looked. You can purchase it, but you can't. It's not on any of the platforms right now. It was all over the place a few months ago.
Really?
But this is the problem with streaming right now. This is why.
Interesting.
And I know Troy always says own physical media. Yes, but I want to watch the movie first.
Yeah, that's
I used
that's
to
the
do.
thing.
I used to do blind buys back in the day. I say that like I don't still do that. Night of the Juggler was a blind buy for me. I picked that up too. But
Hmm.
have you heard of that movie?
I was never allowed to watch it at the
Really? Oh,
time
there's some nudity in it.
because, yeah, it was R-rated, and I was never allowed to see it at the time. So I remember like the very beginning of it,
He,
but that's like pretty much it. But the thing that my mother was like really big on this, and and to this day I'm not sure if this was like something that she would like do on purpose to warn me off of stuff,
I don't know.
or if she would just have these moments of bat crap insanity and start making stuff up. I don't know.
Right.
But, uh, but the thing was, she would tell me things that would happen in a movie that would be like something that would just sound weird or gruesome, and
Okay.
then I wouldn't watch it. But I'll go back and watch that movie later on,
Uh
years
huh.
later, and go, none of that was in there.
Do you remember what she said about the juggler?
Uh, yeah. She told me that the killer gets away with it and everyone else dies.
No, that doesn't happen.
No, okay.
Okay.
She
that,
goes, "Oh
that,
yeah, yeah." James Brolin dies and everything, and the killer gets
no,
away. And I'm like,
no,
okay,
that's
well,
not what
that
happens.
sounds depressing.
That's not what happens. I mean, it's a 70s, even though it came out in like 1980 or 81, you could tell it was a 1970s movie.
Yeah.
So it could have happened there. But no,
Yes. You know?
it's a funny movie. It's basically James Brolin. This weirdo kidnaps his daughter because he wants to hold her for ransom, but he thinks it's the daughter of a rich man because they were wearing similar outfits that day.
Mhm.
And he's a trucker who was an ex-cop. He got laid off, and they did layoffs on the force. And so he's going after a daughter, and he has tussles with the police because you find out later on that he was an informant of corrupt cops. So one of the corrupt cops that still managed to keep his job is after him, wants to kill him because okay,
Oh,
now you're a fugitive for chasing after this guy and causing major car wrecks. Now I have an excuse to go shoot you. So now it's like a three man chase throughout the city. So it's not bad. I actually rather enjoyed it. You get to see Mandy Patinkin playing an angry Puerto Rican cab driver in that, so that was interesting.
a Puerto
So
Rican cab driver. Okay.
yes, oh no, they go all about like the.
Wow.
It's fun. What's funny about the movie is it goes into all the race relations, and it basically shows how all these groups are basically bigoted toward other groups, and it's just kind of funny, like the Puerto Ricans say stuff about white people. The black people say stuff about the Puerto Rican. It's just and I guess maybe it's pointing out how dumb the racism was at the time, but I think it was just portraying what was going on there.
So they learned to hate correctly.
I guess I don't know. It
Yeah.
was just it's an interesting slice of 1970s movie. I think it would be a good companion for the Warriors actually, because he ends up
Wow.
having to fight gangs at some point too, just because he's
Wow.
trying to get his daughter from this psychopath, and it's. It all works out in the end. Okay, that's what I'll say. I'm not going to spoil anything else.
Okay.
I know that doesn't always happen though.
No, because it's the 70s was a very cynical time,
Yeah,
and I knew I grew up in the I was born in the middle of I was born in '73,
I
so
see. Yeah, so you still
Vietnam
remember it a
is
bit. Yeah.
still going on at that point. Watergate's going on at that point, so it was still very cynical period
Yeah.
of time. And then looking back on it and finding out we might have been lied to over
Oh,
a
I'm
lot
sure.
of
I'm
it.
sure we were.
Um, like the thing that I thought was interesting was this thing that Bill Murray said in an interview recently, and he was talking about the Wired, the book that Bob Woodward had written about Belushi, and said that
Oh,
and he said that everything in it was a lie. he got everything about Belushi completely wrong. And he says if he was willing to lie like that about Belushi, was he lying about Nixon?
Interesting.
And I thought, that's interesting. Yes, so it you gotta be careful about where you get your information from, and not just now when it's obvious that they're blatantly lying to you.
Yeah.
Shannon,
Oh yeah. No. No. There's been a lot of
just a
stuff
lot,
lately.
yeah, and
I mean,
yeah.
this decade feels a bit like kind of the stuff we dealt with in the '70s, except it doesn't have the fun stuff, But it's like, I
No,
mean,
that's
what
the
is it? As George Lucas says, history is, or maybe it wasn't George Lucas. It was somebody said history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes, right? So,
yeah.
and I feel like there's some rhyming going on in this decade, but I don't know, man. I was a child during the '80s,
Mm.
because I was born in the late '70s, so it's like I still remember like a hangover from the '70s. Like a lot of the television reruns would be stuff from the '70s, and sometimes you saw
Oh yeah.
people wearing '70s clothes, and there'd be some architecture hangovers. But I feel like when the '80s, when 1980 hit, the '80s basically becomes the '80s. If you look at a lot of the pop culture output after 1980, it's like we're now fully in the '80s, and that decade had its own feel. Um, I don't know. There was some stupid stuff in the '80s too, though. Cabbage Patch Kids, really?
Hey, those things are popular.
Did you have one? You're
I
not going
did
to
not.
admit that on air
No,
anyway.
they were always gone.
What?
They were
Oh, they
always
were
gone.
always sold out. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes, they were sold out. I remember that. I think kids got trampled to death in one of the rushes to get to them. It was just no.
Oh, I'm sure. you know.
No, I
Um. Yeah.
Care Bears and all this other nonsense, all the saccharine stuff they push. It drove me nuts as a kid. Um, I didn't like the Care Bears or Rainbow Bright. Now, admittedly, maybe this wasn't being pushed toward my particular gender, right? But I mean, this was
No.
just I don't know. I felt like there was a lot of this push, and then there was other stuff too. Like for some reason, I just couldn't get into He-Man or Transformers, though I know for a lot of children my age that was the big thing. I was getting into monster movies at that point. When I was
Hmm.
like I was collecting all of the Universal monster figures when they were out because they re-released those and they could add glow in the dark paint on them and stuff. And
Hmm.
I was trying to watch the movies, and it wasn't like today where you can just go out and buy a Blu-ray or I don't know, catch it on cable or something, catch it on streaming or whatever. You'd have to wait for it to be on a cable channel. And trust me, you better have your VCR ready when that happens if you want to watch it again.
Yeah.
So, because I remember the Karloff Mummy movie I had, and I think I had the first two Frankensteins.
Hmm.
I think maybe I got Dracula at some point, and like the rest were just, and the Invisible Man. So I guess I got the big ones. But yeah, that was about it. And I don't know. I was just I was listening to a
Yeah.
horror podcast, and they said there were these things called horror kids, and I was wondering if I was a horror kid. Do you know what I'm talking about when I
Oh,
say that?
absolutely. Yeah.
Like the
Oh,
kid in
yeah.
Creep Show at the beginning of Creep Show when he has all the stuff on his walls, and I'm thinking I might have been a horror kid without even realizing it at the time.
Well,
So
of course, that was a real horror kid because that actually was one of Stephen King's
it was
sons.
Joe Hill,
That kid.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. What?
So yeah, you know. But I don't know if I would have necessarily called myself a horror kid. I certainly watched my share. You know. Alien for me, I know, was very influential.
Oh wow,
And I saw that at probably a too young an age because the thing that was interesting for me, one of the things was I was an insomniac
oh okay,
for a lot of years, and especially when I was very young. It would always be very difficult for me to get to sleep, or I would wake up in the middle of the night or something. And of course, I would go and, you know, turn on the television and watch TV and go through the channels and just if something looked interesting to me. And then I would either sit through the whole thing or I would fall asleep watching it. Then my mom or my dad would find me, pick me up, and put me back in bed.
right.
But so one time that happened, and I'm sitting down and I watched, and it's I didn't realize it was Alien at the time,
Oh,
but I watched what turned out to be Alien, and understand this is cable, this is uncut, everything's in there, and I'm like 6, 7 years old, and I didn't get scared. I was more wrapped up in the production design. And I was more wrapped up in, because you remember in that film, the alien never looks the same way twice.
you're right.
You go through the whole life cycle of the alien in that film, which they would eventually retcon in the later movies, but that's neither here nor there.
No.
You know,
That's not. Okay.
but in the original film, if you go back and you look at it, the alien never looks the same way twice. So you're going through this evolution of the creature, and I was wrapped up in, oh, what's it going to look like next? The only time I really got freaked out during that movie was because the only actor who was in it that I knew was Tom Skerritt.
Yes. Yeah, he
You
was a
know,
name. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing was, you got to understand, when Alien came out, Sigourney Weaver was not Sigourney Weaver yet. We're all getting Ripley for the first time.
Right.
So I had no clue, what I was in for with her. No. This is my first time seeing her in anything. She'd been in like a couple of Woody Allen movies before that, but I'd never seen those. But, so the actor that I knew was Tom Skerritt. So I kind of latched onto him of, okay, he's the captain of the ship. He's the lead guy. He's the actor I know. He's going to figure out what's going on. He's going to figure out how to kill the monster. He's not going to save everybody, but maybe he'll get a couple of them out. And then halfway through the movie, he's taken away. And I'm like, oh no.
All bets are off. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're pretty much in the hands of Sigourney Weaver from there on. And then I'll go, oh, okay. So kind of pulled a little flip on me there.
Yeah.
So to me, Alien was the film that I measured all other movies of its kind up against. When Blade Runner came to be, I always considered Blade Runner to be, okay, Blade Runner is taking place on Earth while Alien is taking place in space. It made sense to me. Even though you have, I certainly the intention, of the writers, either Philip K. Dick in the case of Blade Runner, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and Dan O'Bannon, who's the original writer on Alien, back when it was called Star Beast. I think was the original title he had.
That's a terrible title.
It's a terrible title, but that's what he called it. Or They Bite, when there was more than one of them originally and they were smaller. That was kind of an early version that kind of he threw away. But the point was they certainly didn't have, each other in mind when they made those movies. But once you have Ridley Scott directing both of them, it kind of feels like, okay, it would make sense that they would be in the same. To me, it made sense that they were in the same universe because they had the same look to them and the same feel, And so that's kind of the way I always looked at it,
Right.
I don't know. Everybody's, go off to space in the off-world colonies. I go, you sure about that?
I don't
You sure about that?
No.
I don't know. Is it
Earth
so
was
much better in
attractive,
space?
too.
Well, yeah. But, I was just thinking, I don't know, if those things are still running around up there, I would just as soon just,
So you
Stand.
related the two of
Oh,
them together, though, as you were saying, right?
I did. I did.
See, I
And
had a different experience with space movies growing up. When I was a
mhm,
kid, I, of course, saw the original Star Wars. It was on Showtime. And then a little while later, I saw this movie called Star Trek II The Wrath of Khan. These are the two big science fiction things.
mhm,
And I recognized them as distinct from one another, like they weren't related.
mhm.
And I also noticed at the time that, okay, this movie has a bad guy like Star Wars, but I understand where he's coming from, even though he's still doing bad things. And I think that was the first time I saw like a multi-layered villain in a movie,
Oh
where I
yeah.
sort of understood, okay, beyond him just being bad from his point of view, he has reasons for doing the bad stuff he's doing. He's angry at Captain Kirk or Admiral Kirk at that point, and it was. But I still saw them as distinct. But I thought it was funny though that when I was a kid, I used to think that movies like Star Wars and Star Trek 2 were actually filmed in space. Like the sets were in space.
Oh
Do you
yeah.
understand? Like I
I
knew that
get it.
these
Yeah.
were fake spaceships, but I thought that they actually had sets in space and they were filming stuff in outer space. But
My thing was with black and white movies,
yeah,
and and my dad made the mistake of saying, "Well, everything was in black and white back then,"
uh,
and
and you took that to meaning the whole world was black and white.
everything was in black and white. And one day, everybody woke up and everything was colored in.
It was like
Yeah, but
Pleasantville.
he like Pleasantville, yeah, and he didn't. You know, I didn't get that he meant. You know, no, they did not have color film at that particular time, so or at least it wasn't being widely
I mean,
used,
they
you know,
had
in
in some
film.
instances,
They
like
had it,
Robin
but
Hood
you
was
know,
was in
yeah,
more of a stripped down color, but that was color. Wizard of Oz was color, but yeah, they didn't because it was expensive.
yeah. So it's just that was one thing I had to be. Um, the other thing that used to get me when I was very young, mind you, this is when I made the everything was in black and white remark. I'm like 2 or 3. Now around that same time, you got on the news, and the Middle East has always been a shit show, even when I was real little.
Sure, sure.
And you know, earlier today, the Palestinian guerrillas.
Was this the Olympics thing? Oh,
Well,
I'm sorry, I'm thinking of something else.
after,
Okay, okay,
after,
after.
yeah,
Okay, okay.
and but I would you think gorillas, Planet of the
Oh,
Apes, gorillas with guns,
like they
like
were like it was like it's starting over there. Okay,
yeah,
yeah, the ape takeover. I get you.
because what they would always do was the news would always use this graphic. And now I get it that it was somebody with big hair and a beard, but it looked like an ape.
Oh,
And they're
that's funny.
saying gorillas, and I'm like,
You thought it
what
was
is up?
actual.
What is up with the animals over there? They have guns? What the heck? And again, guys, I'm like 2, 3. I don't
No, I
know.
understand.
You
Well,
know,
to be fair,
so
apparently there are urban legends in India that were like I guess some of the ape life over there is getting more intelligent and actually accosting people in India. I think I read a story about that
yeah, I heard
20
that
years
too.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were I think they're wearing masks and things and I'm like, well, how did this happen? But I don't know if there's any validity to any of this. It could just be an urban legend. But what was I talking about though? Alien though, I will say this for the movie Alien though, had a great trailer, don't you think? You watched the original trailer for Alien?
Oh yeah.
It doesn't give anything away, but
No, not a
it gives
thing.
you enough to make you want to watch the movie. So, brilliant trailer.
Mhm.
Dirty Harry has one of the worst trailers I've ever seen for a movie. It's the original Dirty Harry.
Yeah. What happens there?
It's just, I'll tell you a little story about a couple of killers. The one is a homicidal maniac. The other, Detective Harry Callahan. And then it just shows all these random scenes that seem out of context. Like
Oh.
he's shooting the thing, and then like they have this long scene where he's talking to Gonzalez's wife after he's in the hospital. Say, oh, it really should. And like it just goes on. It's like a scene from the movie. It's like this is a trailer. You're just throwing a bunch of random crap in there, and they show the final part with them jumping on the bus when Scorpio's holding the bus hostage. This is a horrible trailer. It spoils the movie. It's too long. It's you know what it is. It's a rambling trailer. It rambles, like it doesn't get to the point. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
I mean, the trailer for Magnum Force is a lot better, but it's just, I don't know. I guess trailer making is an art form too, but
It is. I do want to say to a couple of people, hello to a couple of people who've joined us late here in the chat. I don't remember if we said hello to Big Al or not, but Al has joined us. Probably asleep by now, but he was with us. The Tired Midnight Blogger, Curtis Selby, good to see you, sir. And our resident Klingon, Mark Melnikoff, Quapla. Good to see you, sir.
yeah. Did you get Alien when it came out on DVD originally?
I'm trying to remember what I have. I don't know about it originally. I don't think so.
Oh, okay. It was a cool DVD.
I know I had Aliens on VHS.
That one, you know what's funny about me and Aliens? I saw that before I saw Alien.
Oh, a lot of people did.
Because it wasn't widely available. It was Aliens was on Showtime, was being played, and I was like, wow, this is cool, but can I watch the original? And it wasn't until it had a broadcast on regular television that I actually saw it. And of course, they cut out all the gory bits on regular TV. But I remember watching it on regular TV during the summer sometime. And I don't think it was till years later I got access to like the theatrical version. I think they finally broadcast it on a satellite channel we had uncut, and then I finally caught it because people don't understand was these movies would make the rounds on cable, but then they would just disappear, right?
Yeah,
because they'd have the sequel. Why are we going to show Alien when we can show Aliens, right? So that tended to be what happened.
Yeah. So the original Alien kind of disappeared for a while and wasn't very widely seen.
Yeah.
And there was this kid in my class and he was like a big fan of Aliens, and I'd seen it too. I love it. I'm talking about it, and says, like in the original movie, and he's like, what original movie? Well, yeah, when she's in the briefing, when they're talking, all of that was in the original movie. So they showed all that, and I'm like, yeah,
Well, that's the thing, you didn't know.
No, So it says, yeah, you got to go out and find it, and yeah,
And it wasn't always easy.
no,
Because you could maybe try the video rental store; they might have it. Sometimes, and people don't realize this. I mentioned this with Troy, that in the original days of VHS, sometimes they'd be priced to own on release, but a lot of the time they would come out at like $100 something for the video rental stores, and then eventually over time they would come down in price. Like I think it was a number of years later I got Dawn of the Dead on VHS for like $19.99 because they finally it had been out a number of years. They probably finally priced that one to own, but for a while you couldn't really afford to get these movies. You had to rent them, right?
yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming by the time your dad got Blade Runner, that was probably priced to own, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, but there was a difference, between like they said, the price to own, and then when these movies would originally come out, and we're talking, depending on the movie, it could be as high as like $79.95. I remember those kind of prices.
Yeah.
You know.
And Laserdiscs were also pricey. That's why everybody was shocked when DVDs came out and they were so cheap. So yeah. But,
And that's how DVD won, because they were in the end were really affordable, and in some cases were of better quality.
I remember when Alien came out on DVD, it was a special edition, and you put it in your player, and you would have the 20th Century Fox little promo thing pop up, and then suddenly it got all staticky, You know, and then suddenly it was you heard the Nostromo computer clicking on. Do you understand? And then like your menu
Right.
system looked like the little parts of the ship where a gate would open up and you'd go through it to another section. And it was, I
Hmm.
remember at the time it being very nifty, and it had all kinds of features on it. It had like an alternative music score on it, or like
Hmm.
isolated music score, audio commentaries. It had a lot of cool stuff on it for the
Hmm.
time. It was kind of a showpiece for, I guess, 20th Century Fox's DVDs at the
Yeah.
time. So yeah.
Yeah, and the quadrilogy did that.
That was it was the one that
That
was
was
in the
the box set.
quadrilogy. It was the one that was in the quadrilogy.
Yeah.
Because and that came with Aliens, which wasn't as fancy, but it had animated menus. And I don't think I looked at the original Alien 3 or Alien Resurrection from that set because
Hmm.
I just got the first two. They didn't release them as a quadrilogy. Did they release them as a quadrilogy at the same time? I don't remember now, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I have I have that set to this very day.
and I have the Blu-ray set of the quadrilogy as well, the one that came out later, which
Oh.
has the not the what is it, the extended edition of Alien 3 that they said was so much better, and I watched
Yeah.
it.
They there's a term. They have a
I
that
don't
a
know what they
title
call it
for it. What would
because it's not really a
they called it
director's
for?
cut because I don't think Fincher
No,
was involved.
Fincher wasn't involved.
Yeah.
It it is a better version in that there are scenes that are put back in that it clears a lot of the continuity
Yeah, I guess
mistakes up.
it's
Um,
longer though, so that hurts it. I'm sorry.
it is, yeah, it's longer,
Dreadful movie. Oh,
but the longer version does make more sense, honestly.
I
Um,
hated Alien 3 when that came out. I actually had I actually I me and my friends, I'd get like a birthday movie. My parents would take me to see a movie, so we went to see Alien 3, and I was like, "This no, that was a horrible disappointment after Aliens." But I don't. Maybe you like it more than me. I don't know. But apparently Tarantino likes it.
I understand why well, he's a Fincher guy,
Yeah.
but I and I don't blame Fincher for that
No,
because
and they're a Fincher.
there was a lot going on behind the scenes. But the thing that people have to understand when Alien 3 came out, this was like when it was being made, and you're talking like between 90 and 91, and the movie eventually came out like 92. But you're talking about a movie that they started filming without a completed script. This was, things being changed on the fly. You have the director, in this case being David Fincher, who's at this point he's not David Fincher yet. He's just a guy who had directed some music videos that were really cool looking.
Yes.
And so he didn't have the juice that he has now.
Right.
And so he's basically just the studio hire, and he's basically stuck in a situation where it's like, okay, asshole, you do what we tell you to do, or we're firing you and ruining you. So he's kind of stuck with this is not his cast. This is not his script. You know, so
Yeah.
he's kind of between a rock and a hard place. You have a star that wants to change everything because she decided that she's anti-gun between 2 and 3 and didn't want to have guns in the movie.
Oh wow, really? I didn't know that. I didn't
So
know anything about
that's
that.
that's out, and
Oh,
then
oh, that's oh,
yeah, and then which makes some films that she did after that very interesting to me. But point
interesting.
point being, so you got the star throwing her weight around. Who's in the middle of a beef with the studio to begin with because they weren't paying her for the previous film. And then and then you have all of these like British character actors who nobody knows unless you've watched a bunch of movies.
I mean, it's an impressive cast, the British actors, but
Yeah.
because we know who they are now, but at the time,
At the
no.
time, and then when you've shaved everybody's head and you dressed them all the
Yes.
same, you don't know who's who. You know, so it's like everything. And then you have the stake through the heart, which is you kill off Hicks and Newt.
Wouldn't it have made more sense just for Ripley's thing to be seen as contaminated and her pod gets ejected, whereas Newt and Hicks just go on their merry way? They could have just done that if they didn't want to involve Newts and Hicks.
Well, what I think they should have done was stick to their original plan, which was they were going to shoot 3 and 4 back to back, where it was going to be this story, and William Gibson had written it, the
Yes.
science fiction writer who did Neuromancer and Mona Lisa Overdrive and all of those, and he lived down here for a while, not too far away from me actually. He was the original writer on Alien 3. And he had written this story, which was because the idea was they didn't know if they were going to get Sigourney Weaver back for 3 because of the legal shit that was going on. So what happened was he had to write a story that didn't have Ripley in it. So what he did was he had an alien getting loose into Sulaco. I don't remember how it got there. He explained it way better than the final movie did, but it gets there. And what is actually going on in the background is there's this kind of Cold War situation between, the basically, quote unquote, the Americans and these guys, the UPP, who was kind of like this kind of communist bloc in space, Russians and Chinese. And so there's this Cold War situation going on, and both of them are after the alien for well, we must have our weapon, that kick. And so they're both after it, and the Russians get to the Sulaco before the Americans do. And they get attacked, and Ripley's pod gets damaged, and she goes into a coma. So she is knocked out through the entire movie.
I see.
And it becomes, so that's how they get her out of the way. And it becomes this Hicks and Bishop story. And they evacuate Newt like off the ship really quickly, and they find like an uncle or something, and she goes on her merry. And so it becomes this Hicks and Bishop story. And it's kind of a detective story of why is everybody after the alien? How long have they known about the alien and all of this? And, of course, the aliens get loose on Anchor Point, which is the American station, and the UPP station gets overrun as well. And so one of the people from the UPP, who's this Chinese woman, she escapes. But the Russians nuke the station. And she gets hit with all sorts of radiation. And by the end of the movie, she's dying from radiation poisoning. But she makes it through the film, but she's kind of screwed, regardless. And then Anchor Point gets overrun, and it's basically from there on Hicks and Bishop trying to get these last kind of few survivors off of Anchor Point and off to wherever they're going. And the idea was supposed to be was that the fourth movie was going to be the conclusion of the story, where they were going to, and where they were going to go to the alien home world and just wipe them out for good.
Did you know that they turned this into an audio drama?
They did. I've heard it.
Oh, any good?
It is.
Okay. And then I guess they didn't do the follow-up part, did they?
No.
Okay.
No, because they didn't film that version of it, sadly. But yeah, the audio version's on Audible. Michael Biehn and Lance Henriksen do come back for it. It's kind of a simplified version of what Gibson wrote, but the spine of it is there, and it's interesting to listen to as a what if, But I'm kind of curious where that would have taken things if they had done that version. But honestly, in retrospect, they should have stopped it too.
Yeah, well, they didn't, and we got a lot of stuff. Believe it or not, I wasn't as much a hater of Alien Resurrection as some people. They seem to hate that one most of all, but I at least thought it was interesting that it took place so far in the future that the Wayland Corporation, Weyland-Yutani, was no longer a thing, and that now it was like a colonial-style government running everything. So I thought that was interesting how, in these alien things, you think, oh, these corporations are going to be running things forever. No, now they're in the past. They're no more. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then you had Winona Ryder was the android in that movie.
That helped. Yeah.
On a ship with burly pirate men, yes. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Because the joke to it is she's a robot. She can kick all their asses if they try.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why they never got anywhere with her. Because I'm like, no, this is not who you throw on a pirate ship. You're Bennett. I guess instead of at sea, at space. But
yeah,
I don't know. And then you have Prometheus.
I actually don't dump on Prometheus.
There are people that love it. Mark Kermode, the British critic, is a big fan of Alien. He defended Prometheus when it came out. And then when Alien Covenant came out, he said, it's like your child that you're very disappointed in. That's what he said.
Yeah, Covenant is... Covenant's pretty bad.
Michael Fassbender is the best character in both those movies. Yes, he's
Fassbender
incredible.
Saves it. But he's... But then again, it was like one of his scenes that kind of lost me when it gets to Covenant. It says, "Oh, that they do with him and the other version of him, Walter."
Yes.
And he get, "I'll do the fingering," and I'm like, "Oh Jesus, no."
Oh, I didn't even read into that, but you might be right. This is Ridley Scott after all. Maybe he did something weird there.
Hot Fassbender on Fassbender action, and I'm like, I don't need to see this, No, with the flute and everything, and I'm like, oh, just stop now, no.
Have you seen the movie Frank with Michael Fassbender?
I have not. I've heard of it though.
It's incredible because he's wearing this big, like, Howdy Doody style mask throughout the entire movie.
Like this is supposed to be like this paper mache head or something.
And he wears it all. He will never take it off. And part of me wonders, is Michael Fassbender in every one of those scenes wearing the mask? And you know what I think in my head? Yes, it is. They would have had some stunt guy in there. It would have been him for every one of those scenes in that mask.
Yeah, I give him this. He throws himself 100% into everything he's in.
Oh yeah, he's a good actor. I'd like to see him in more stuff. Actually,
I would.
Where has he been lately? What was the last thing he was in?
The last thing I saw him in was Black Bag.
Oh, okay, that was recent.
Earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
all right. So that was
year,
recent. Yeah. Okay, all right.
But if he's done anything since then, I'm blanked on it. But yeah, that was the last thing I saw him in.
But let's see here, though. I don't know, though. Ridley Scott's still directing movies.
Sort of.
You see House of Gucci?
I didn't see House of Gucci. No,
No.
I did
I,
see Gladiator 2 though.
okay, because I'm desperate to talk to people about House of Gucci because it was just that movie was such a train wreck. It wasn't even funny. But I guess Gladiator. Well, how was Gladiator 2? Was that also a train wreck, or was that?
Once they got to the CGI baboons, that's when I realized, okay, I am watching an asylum version of Gladiator, and I am just gonna sit back, put my feet up, and watch this train wreck happen.
Oh my
I
goodness.
I I called it the best worst movie of the year because I was laughing the whole thing like an idiot.
Well, it's funny with Ridley Scott because, like, I remember going back in the day, I'd go back and forth. Like, there'd be a really bad Ridley Scott movie, but then, like he did the Robin Hood movie with Russell Crowe, which
Yeah, it was
it, what
meh. Yeah, it was meh.
I remember one. I think even Roper made a point that when that movie came out, he's this Russell Crowe's Robin is the same age of Sean Connery in the Robin and Marion movie, where he's really old. You know,
Yeah,
Robin Hood's supposed to be young. Revolutions
yeah.
are fought by the young. I don't understand.
Well,
Anyway,
the
go ahead.
one of the things that happened to Robin Hood was that was another situation where they kind of changed the script the last minute
Right.
because that movie was originally a movie called Nottingham, and it was
Yes.
supposed to be all about the sheriff of Nottingham and how he was in secret helping Robin Hood. And then it was kind of like, okay, I will agree to be the bad guy to history, but the whole time I'm going to be helping you escape. And I
Okay.
thought, well, that would have been a really
That might have been
interesting
interesting. I don't know.
take.
Yeah.
But then the studio said, no, we want another Robin Hood movie. And okay.
So then we don't even really have the sheriff of Nottingham as the villain. We have, I guess would that have been Prince John? Was he the villain?
Or
Whoever the French guy
he
was on the
becomes
throne.
the, well, yeah, he becomes Oscar Isaac, yeah. He becomes the villain. But
And then Mark Strong, the
Mark
French guy.
Strong's kind of the
Yes.
villain through the film, yeah. And
The French are the villains, I guess.
what?
Which
Okay, they were French. Okay, I don't even remember
I
that.
think they're supposed to be
All I
French.
remember is
To be fair, the whole problem was the Normans were running England, so there's all this French,
yeah,
like a Normans versus Saxon thing. If I follow Robin of Sherwood, but I'm just saying, I remember watching it at the time, and to be fair, things get fleshed out a little better in the director's cut. When I saw it in the theater, I see these little boys in the woods
hmm
that I guess are thieves or something. I'm thinking, oh, those are the Lost Boys from Peter Pan. Ridley, that's a different thing that had guys in pointy hats. Okay, that's not Robin Hood. I don't. Why are the Lost Boys in Robin Hood? It's like, and Kate Blanchett showing up in the suit of armor at the end, which I laughed at. I'm like, no,
yeah,
it's not going to happen.
no.
I
All
just,
right,
yeah, but that was Ridley Scott. But then we did The Martian, and I thought The Martian was good. I thought it was
yeah,
decent. Yeah, I
it
mean, yeah,
was. It's a good film. Good film.
yeah. So I don't know.
All right. Well, it is right about that time, and we do have to get everybody on over to Doctor Who.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And I'm kind of curious about this one because I understand that this is an episode arc that's partially lost.
That's what he told me. Yeah.
Okay, so kind of curious to get the backstory on this one. All right, so Boomer, just go ahead and let everybody know what you're going to be up to for the next week.
Like I said, you can catch me throughout the week. I'll be on Tuesday with Steven here with the Sparkwood and 21. And then I will be on Friday stream, Friday Last Call with Troy this week. So tune in.
Right on. And as for me, let's see, Tuesday, 7 p.m., the Mystery Movie Night podcast. I'll be joined, where I am joined by a round table of YouTube critics that includes Sin's Corner, Wilkie's Movies and Music. Off the cover, Kyle Corwith, Enigma Severus, the Movie Man, and Rachel the Elder Millennial. We're picking people up as we go, folks. And let's see, of course, right after that, 8:30, we'll be live from Sparkwood and 21. And we're going to be jumping right into it this week because we are going to be watching the pilot movie for Twin Peaks. And we will be watching it in its entirety. So once we go on the air, boom, we are going to go straight into the movie.
Cool.
And we're just going to discuss it from there. Let's see, Thursday, I'm going to be joining Outlaw Bill for Action Theater, and this week's movie is Mel Gibson's Apocalypto.
Okay, great.
And then later on that night at 11 p.m. will be Coming Attractions, and you'll get to find out what I'm doing in the next week.
Cool.
Indeed. All right. Okay, finally. It's almost like my buttons are sticking on the computer for some reason. Yeah, I got to get it serviced anyway.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, all right, Boomer, thank you very much for taking the time out to join me here this evening.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I had a good time. Yeah.
Indeed. And I want to thank everyone who is following along on X. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. And I want to thank everybody who is here in the live chat with us. Always great to see everybody. Thank you for being here and watching. Anybody who might have been lurking in the background, perfectly fine. You don't have to engage with the chat, just as long as you enjoy the show. Hit the like, share out the stream, do all the things the algorithm likes. And from HQ and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond, good night, take care, stay strong, be safe and healthy, because this is how we win.
Ronin's back, slicing through the noise with a culture attack. Pop culture films in the world we see. Deleted scenes where the truth runs free. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties reviews to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties, reviews, to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Yeah. Steven Otten, your YouTube pro, let's roll.